Good morning, good afternoon, good evening and good night. You are here with Lecky_2000 at FluxMotorsport TV. Welcome and good evening to our event this evening, our GT1 Championship finale here at the ever soggy Cirque du Sarthe. So we're here at Le Mans this evening for our 8th and final round of our GT1 Championship. So welcome everybody. Thanks for being here with me today. If you are joining us from the world of YouTube, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you get notified about all our wonderful videos. So coming into tonight's race, we take a little look at our standings. Currently at the top of the shop after round 7 at Catalonia last week. We have Bruce Law, who is, after last week, well and truly crowned our GT1 Championship winner. So this is a done deal coming into this championship. And Bruce Law is essentially just running out this race for pride, I believe. As you see him coming down the Mulsanne straight there in very wet conditions. So 252 points on our championship standings for Bruce. Almost 100 points difference between him and second place, and it's Murphy that is currently second in our championship standings. So a big difference between first and second place. But what does the rest of our order look like? So I'll give you a quick rundown of our table. Second place currently sees Murphy with 157 points. Third sees Jack de Mendes. Now Jack de Mendes will miss this race. Unfortunately he's away for this race, so will be dropping championship points for that race. He's closely followed in fourth place by Kovkal. Kovkal coming with 125 points, so Kovkal will be looking to get the jump on Jack here. Jack won't be picking up any points, so any place finish for Kovkal would see him get ever closer to Jack and potentially take and clinch third in the championship. So behind Kovkal in fifth place we have Alright Turkish with 117. In sixth we've got another absentee driver, that's Immortalis, who was a late joiner and had an absolute cracking start to his season, midway through the season, with a second place and then a first place. But he is absent today, so he won't be picking up points this evening. Then coming down to seventh place, we've got Luke 42. Luke 42 is currently lied up in hospital because he's broken his leg. So the guy's really in the wars and suffering this week for our GT1 Championship. Behind Luke 42 in 8th place we have Old Smokey with 68 points. He's actually joint 7th, the level on Luke with points. Behind that we have CMC F1 with 55 points. Redwood 1962 with 47. Mark 61384 with 42 in 11th place. Sub-Xerox, one of our newer drivers, in 30 with 30 points in 12th place. The Best Gamer, another absent driver with just 10 points together, another late entry. And we've got a couple of reserve drivers and people that will be just joining us for the last race of the championship, actually getting some championship points. A couple of these guys, a couple of guys just turn up as a cameo drive to get some experience. So we have got Green Gaming, Snarling Bongo, Linger Berzinga and Mike Purr, also known as the Dog Molly. So 10 minutes left in our qualifying session here. Murphy currently setting the fastest lap, so 3:58. Absolute storming lap for Murphy. The quickest we've seen so far is around about 4 minutes around here in the wet session at Le Mans. So I'm starting to think potentially that could have been Murphy getting advantage of the changeable conditions that we've got here at Le Mans. Not a completely wet session, as we can see. Spits and spats of water spray coming up from the tyres there, in sections, but not throughout that straight. Certainly as he came down the hill there, Murphy not really picking up too much water, but certainly as he comes into chicane, the first chicane on Mulsanne straight, picking up quite a lot of water there. So still struggling, albeit putting in quickest laps today. However, we have just had Tibby. So Tibby is a new driver, relatively new driver. Joins us I think only for the second time, but unfortunately didn't finish last week's race with a disconnection, I believe. So Tibby currently coming in with a 3:57, so a storming lap being put in from Tibby there. Can't tell you much about Tibby at this stage. We are a limited on driver info for Tibby, so we will try and bring you some more information about some of our newer drivers into next season, and see if we can try and do a little bit of data mine in the background with some of our drivers during the off season. So, little rundown our order here. So we have Linga Bazinga. Like I said, Linga is a cameo driver for this evening. Currently going out in the Toyota popular choice for Le Mans because of its extended length that it has. Quite a lot of top end on the on that Japanese engine there. Currently in full spot in our qualifying session is Bruce Law. So Bruce Law will be looking just to have a safe drive here, try and bring that car home, no spins, limited pit stops, and just trying to come in for a safe drive here. So looking to stay out of the action, I hope today, Bruce. In 50th we've got in our qualifying session is Mark. Mark struggling to get the handle of that Toyota at the final right hander at the end of Mulsanne Straight though. Difficult corner to exit out of, and depending on the conditions can be a lake on the way into that corner. Very flat, not very good drainage there, so Mark's struggling a little bit with that corner there, but getting the Toyota back under control, that Earl will be playing a part. The guys will have been struggling here, trying to get the race engineer to set the cars up for them with the necessary balance of a decent amount of aero to account for the wet weather conditions, and not too much in terms of resistance and aero drag for the long straight, where you need to ensure that you've got that car performing at its top end. So Green Gaming, another new driver that's joining us. So Green Gaming currently a name driver in our championship, but not picking up any points so far. So this will be his first place to finish if he manages to finish here today. Currently in 6th place. Another driver from the United States. So great to have Green Gaming with us. Casey Redwood, a driver that originally joined us from Curb Clippers. So a shout out to the guys at Curb Clippers community. Casey Redwood again picking the Toyota here. Popular choice today. Currently sat in 7th place. Another cameo drive is Snarling Bongo, again number 29 Toyota. So choosing the power of the Honda here. Currently seeing him 4:08, so not a bad time. Anything under 4:10 acceptable lap times here in wet conditions. And the V-shaped lights of the orange and black CLK of Alright Turkish there. So Alright Turkish currently in 5th in our championship, 107 points. He'll be looking to try and finish well today. Jack de Menezes is only just less than 20 points ahead of Alright Turkish. So technically, Alright Turkish with a good finish could see himself jump up 2 places within the standings today, and Ron Paul with a 3rd. So he'll be looking to try and keep it together today. We know his consistency has improved, but isn't completely unprone to a mishap. Sorry, so we'll keep an eye on Alright Turkish, try and keep you up to date with all the action and his fight for the championship standings. So in lieu of Luke 42 this week, who, like I said, he unfortunately missed us due to a broken leg. He's replaced with another Porsche fanatic in Mike Purr, or Dog Molly as he's known to his mates. As we see, I believe that is Snarling Bongo. It's not, sorry, apologies. I could well be Linga Bazinga then. It's not, I'll come back to you on that one. So we've got a new livery there from RCLK, but sorry, just back over to Mike Purr. Yeah, Mike. So another American driver, Mike. A lot of our guys coming over from stateside now, starting to gain popularity with our US counterparts. So currently in 10th place in a 4:25, and let's see if he can manage to keep that Porsche a little bit more in the right direction than Luke has. We know it's capable of some speed, but it's prone to running over in the corners. So CMC currently in the pits, but dropping to 11th place. So CMC has had a difficult season so far. Currently sat in 9th place and only 55 points on the table. So not picked up an awful lot of points, and not picked up an awful lot of finishes this season. CMC. So played with a couple of disconnections and technical issues with his car setup, I believe. So CMC looking to put a lap in, and in fact, Old Smoky and Sub-Zero Call are all looking to put laps in so far in this qualifying session. As we go on board with Toyota of Linga Bazinga. So just trying to take a little look through the running order. It was the blue and white CLK of Tibby. So Tibby currently setting our fastest laps in that zip and all oil livery with a 3:57. Interesting to see what the most recent lap timings are. So last laps are more indicative, I think, of wet weather conditions, with around about the 4-minute mark. Bruce Law just breaking the 3:59 mark in the wet tyres. So I suspect that's going to be more like what we're going to see today here at race pace. Just a couple of minutes left of our qualifying session now. Stay on board with Tibby here just to see if he can bring that lap time back down from the 5-minute mark they had on the previous lap. And we'll try and bring you some information on what's coming up in Flux Motorsport. So, like I said, it's our final round here at Flux Motorsport for our GT1 championship. 8 rounds in the championship, so I've seen some great action, really close fighting here in the GT1. It's been a great season. Really enjoyed the commentary and enjoyed the close action here. But going forward, we do have our Formula Renault and our GT3 championship finales to look forward to this week. So this Sunday sees Formula Renaults at 10:30 on the 27th of September, and that will be hosted and commentated by your one and only Murphy. Murphy currently sitting second on our grid, currently seen coming out the pits there. I suspect that's with full race fuel as he tries to get things ready now and prepared for our race. So like I said, GT3s coming to you from our league coordinator at the console, and again commentated by Murphy. So Murphy jumping in the commentary box twice for us on Sunday. If you do follow the Formula Renault GT3 championships, don't forget to tune into that, you won't want to miss that. And what have we got at Flux Motorsport following our championships? Well, in traditional fashion, as we always done at Flux Motorsport and in our previous communities, it is our special events. This time around we'll be having special events, and there will be prizes for our winners. So do look forward to announcements coming out on Flux Motorsport on the website, within the PSN community, and amongst our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch and YouTube channels, for all the information about our special events that are coming up. And then following that, obviously, we'll roll right back into our regular championship races, which are yet to be announced. So 30 seconds left of our qualifying session here today. Tibby currently top of the shop. We'll be happy with that drive, so really putting an upset here. Looks like a great wet weather specialist as he comes round to finish what looks like a warm lap in the wet, so I'm not expecting that he gets 3:57s. Take a look as he comes across the timing line here. Yep, so 3:59s as we're looking at in this qualifying session. I think that's as we have it. So Tibby will finish our qualifying session presumably in first place at this stage, unless we can get a couple of the other drivers that are still managing to put laps in. Linga Bazinga, Bruce Law, Snarling Bongo, all yet to put laps in. So a couple of minutes left while we finish off our remaining laps in this session here. So stay on board with third place. This will be the 29 number Toyota. I think the third 29 number Toyota, so it does get a little confusing. I'll try and keep on top of that throughout the race for you. But currently with Linga Bazinga in third place, So Linga Bazinga's been chomping at the bit to get into our GT1 championship. Recent addition to our community and a very quick driver in his own right. I personally sat and did the evaluation drive with Linga Bazinga and can personally vouch for his proficiency and racecraft. Both him and Sterling Bongo, both I believe Dutch drivers, coming to us from the Netherlands. So a truly international field to our GT1 championship, getting a little bit sideways through the right-hand turn at the end of Molson Straight, which is not uncommon after a intermittent rain session here at Le Mans. Difficult with the drainage here, particularly at the low sections of the track. And the Molson Straight definitely can have different weather settings to the very start of this track, so potentially you can have rain at one side and dry conditions at the other here at Le Mans. But seeming to keep the Toyota into check, nicely down into probably second gear as he goes through that bank left hand corner. Does want to over rotate there if you get it on the power too early, or wants to spit you into the gravel if you go too late. And a little bit of a power slide there as he comes through that flat right hander into this Porsche section of the Porsche curves. As we can see that standing water that Linga's got to try and traverse there, and he thinks better of it. So Linga happy with his lap this time. Bruce Law coming round the end of the Molson Straight. Again, just think he's going to be putting in laps for the sake of tyre pressure. And you did see that panel's getting a little bit twisted there at the exit of that corner. An awful lot of torque in that panos, so does want to spin up the tyres. That's one thing I will mention about the panos. Doesn't have any assists on this, so Toyota and CLK are managing to have a little bit of assistance with the ABS and traction control, but the panos having to do it au natural. So our order looks like it remains as is here through our qualifying session, and I think Green Gaming is just literally finishing the lap and taking this home now. So Tibby in first, Murphy in second, and Linga Bazinga in third. So completely different from what we potentially could have predicted at the start of this race. Bruce Law we're seeing all the way down in fourth place, and some of our usual suspects like Alright Turkish and Kovkal not quite as high up the order as we would expect. Kovkal not managing to set a lap this time round in the usual green livery that we see in Kovkal's Mercedes CLK. So our drivers will be just in the pits now, just having the final tweaks with the race engineers, final word and final setup. They are going to want to try and pit here during the race. Tyre wear is an issue. It's a lot of straights, but unfortunately the GT1s are putting a lot of power through the tyres, so do still mince through the tyres quite quickly, particularly in wet conditions with a lot of the tyre pressure taken out to increase contact patch. So the guys are going to want to try and change tyres here, potentially a two-stop strategy depending on the setup that a driver's chosen. Most of the guys I do suspect will opt for a one-stop strategy here at Le Mans. Fuel will be a minor concern. The guys probably aren't going to want to fill up on a full tank. It will help with traction through some of the puddles, but from the start of the race I suspect the guys are going to try and vote for a little bit more speed rather than a little bit more traction, and just try and push the limits and boundaries here of what they can actually do without getting the cars to aquaplane. So just stay on board with Green Gaming here as he just sees this this session out. And that's it, I think, for our qualifying session. And run down the order is Tibbet 24 in first place, Murphy in second place, Linga Bazinga coming up in third place, so Bruce Law second on our grid in fourth place, Sterling Bongo and Green Gaming are fifth and sixth on our grid. So great show from those two newcomers to our lobby. Casey Redwood and Mark in their matching Toyotas in 7th and 8th. Alright Turkish all the way down in 9th, and our newcomer Mike Pert in 10th. Old Smoky 11th, CMC 12th, Sub-Zero 13th, and Kovkarl in 14th place. So we'll get this underway here. A couple of minutes before the lights go green, as the guys make sure they've got the pit strategy sorted and get ready for starters orders. So we'll just have a quick interlude here as we switch camera. I'll be back with you in just a moment. Hello and welcome back to Flux Motorsport TV. You're back with Lecky_2000. Thanks very much for sticking with us. So we're just getting ready for our GT1 finale here. Tibev24 is the guy that's currently topping out our qualifying session. He's first qualifying and his first pole position, I believe. Just taking a look at my standings. Yeah, that's right. So great going from Tibby here. Really strong qualifying session. Murphy also performing really well in this session. So looks like the car change that Murphy opted for a couple of rounds ago has seen him well here. So like I said, the guy's getting ready. Just final settings just being adjusted. Final bits of fuel just being splashed into the car, and we will get underway here. Okay, so not very long left now, as we see the guys just getting ready, lining up along the start line with the Cirque Sarth motifs in the background, and we can hear the engines kicking off now. So you see the light bulbs come on, and very shortly we're on the starter orders, and they are go, and Murphy getting a great start. So Murphy pulling off the line, great there. Tibby just managing to run wide a little bit, and that's allowed potentially Bruce Law to get through. So Bruce Law and Linga Bazinga also looking like they're going to get through there. So Tibby dropping 3 spots there off the beginning. Green Gaming pushing up on the inside there. Snarling Bongo and Mark all doing well off the start as well. So Murphy running a little bit wide there. So Murphy just cutting that chicane there. So that might invoke the race director just to give him a little bit of a slowdown penalty there. But Bruce Law managing to tuck in behind him and making trouble for Murphy there. So Murphy's not in the clear yet. So just as we see, is that Linga Bazinga? It is Linga Bazinga going wide there. He'll be clipping a few of those bollards, will be taking front end damage, so that is going to affect him on the straight. So as we get into the Mulsanne straight here, bit of carnage from the straight, but fortunately no spins at this stage. Murphy looks like he's out there in first place, closely followed by Bruce Law, who's made it all the way up from 4th place into 2nd. So great start from Bruce, and Tibby's dropped back down to 3rd. So just coming down the straight now, guys trying to get in the slipstream. Murphy again running wide, so that brake's not really working on that Toyota, while getting the better of Murphy on this instance, but he has to slot back into 2nd place, and Tibby will be wanting to get the better of him, as we see Bruce Law just trying to switch line there and stay away at the standing water. So Bruce Law now into 1st place past Murphy, and Tibby in 3rd place, but Tibby now getting closed down by Linga Bazinga. So that damage not really affecting Linga too much as he sits in Tibby's slipstream. And Snarling Bongo is right behind Linga Bazinga. So Dutch drivers 4 and 5 now. And our American driver Green Gaming in 6th place. So must admit CMC, we didn't see much of CMC from the start though, but CMC getting an absolutely storming start in that black CLK, all the way from down near the back of the grid, all the way up to 7th place. So great for CMC to see there. Hope he gets a good finish in this race. Might get some of those points back up. So just as we go back to our fight for 3rd place, it looks like Linga Bazinga is currently holding it off Tibby and Snarling Bongo, but this could be anybody's here. So as they all go neck and neck into the right hander at the end of the Mulsanne straight, there's next to nothing in these guys now. And as we see in front, Bruce Law and Murphy just getting in front though. So we've got 2 battles on track for 1st and 2nd place. Murphy and Bruce Law also going for it. Bruce Law just taking Murphy in the straight there, which is unusual. As we come into the back section here, it looks pretty dry, so the guys will be on wet tyres. and these will start to be overheating, and that's potentially why Bruce Law has just gone off the track. So Bruce Law managing to not pick up too much damage, but does have to rejoin there, and it looks like we've got all sorts of action behind us. Tibby and Sterling Bongo off the track. So Tibby and Sterling Bongo allowing Green Gaming to get through, and potentially CMC to come through behind here. So we'll stick with the mid-pack here, just as we see these guys just sort out the order. No further incidents on that corner, but it has made a bit of a shuffle mid-pack here. So all the way down from 4th place is all reshuffled. We've now got Green Gaming in 4th, Sterling Bongo in 5th, Tibby in 6th, and CMC in 7th. But CMC's not finished yet, and he tries to go around Tibby, so there will have been some damage picked up there. And CMC just backing out of that, sticking the inside line there, but not maintaining enough braking pressure and friction to be able to make the inside line stick there. So thinking better of it and sitting behind him, probably the right option. As we see, is that Linga Bazinga, who's managed to spin it just going through the exit of the Porsche curves there, and Linga Bazinga now being overtaken by Sterling Bongo. It's all changed here, the wet weather conditions having a traumatic effect on some of the on what looks like the Toyotas that are spinning, but it's not just the Toyotas that are struggling. We did see Bruce Law going wide, and is that Tibby again in the background going round. So Tibby really having a difficult race here. Great qualifying session, but difficult race, and a little bit of space opening up now on our grid. So Murphy managing to run away, but with a bit of a gap now, with a 2-second gap to Bruce Law in 2nd place, as they just come under the Dunlop Bridge. Green Gaming all the way up to 3rd, so a good start from Green Gaming. Came up from 7th place, managed to get a decent start, ran up through to up to 4th and 5th place, and has managed to snatch 3rd now. So great start from Green Gaming. Sterling Bongo not without his upset so far in this race, but managing to claw 4th place back, as we see Kovkal now coming up to 5th place. So is that potentially a spin from CMC, or a minor miscalculation there from CSC has allowed Kovkal to come through? Kovkal, as we see, didn't set a lap. Another guy didn't set a lap in qualifying, so came from the back of the grid from CMC, or certainly way down the order. And Kovkal up into 5th place. So we'll just go over to our standings. What does that mean for our standings for Kovkal? Kovkal is currently in 3rd place with 125 points, so that isn't going to see him slingshot over Murphy. Murphy will continue in 2nd place, as is that CMC in the background, as he comes heavy into that turn. Lucky to not clip the wall there. Yep, and Tibby managing to get his way back through. So although Tibby has span, it doesn't look like he's lost too much speed. Potentially not picking up too much damage from just that spin. The gravel managing to do its job to slow the driver down there. But it has allowed Linga Bazinga to come back past, who was involved and did pick up damage. And now Alright Turkish has come past CMC. So Alright Turkish will be trying to keep up with Linga Bazinga. Can't see much damage to the Mercedes, so hopefully Turkish will be able to get past the MC and keep climbing. As we go on board to Bruce Law now, so Bruce Law is currently challenging Murphy again for the lead. So that couple of second gap that Murphy had dropped a little bit now, as we see Bruce sitting in the slipstream, and as we see him getting just out the spray there. So albeit will be a drier line directly behind the car in front, is much more difficult to see out of the windscreen of those cars, and we will try and get an on board with one of the drivers round here in the wet today, just to give you an example of how difficult it can be for the drivers with large amounts of spray from these huge tyres that the GT1 cars have got. But Bruce Law certainly trying to stick with Murphy. Has increased that gap to a second to Murphy, managing to pull away. Potentially the legs on the Toyota benefiting him there. Just behind Murphy and Bruce Law, we've got Green Gaming and Sterling Bongo. So Sterling Bongo potentially having a couple of mistakes at the beginning of this race. It does look like he's got it back together now, as he sits just less than a second away behind Green Gaming. Green Gaming also opting for the CLK. which again has traction control and both front and back wings, which the Toyota lacks. No front wing on that Toyota, so potentially the better car choice here. But action all down the grid now, with Tibby also closing back in on Kovkal. So Tibby managing to work his way back up, past Linga Bazinga, and now challenging Kovkal for 5th place. So they both come into this difficult double chicane section, dropping 2 gears initially and then a further gear for the second chicane, and a difficult exit there. Both these guys making it look easy. So that's our battle for 5th place. And is that Old Smoky that's gone round? I think it is Old Smoky that's gone round there. That's allowed Alright Turkish to come through, so Alright Turkish up to 8th place. And CMC, we did see having a bit of difficulty before, has come back up to 9th. And Old Smoky into the pits now, so that looks like it's damage related. So that is our first pit of the day. And Mark looks like he's coming behind him, so potentially that's contact between these two guys. Oh, and puddle starts to form in there as Tibby clips that puddle on the inside of the apex. So Tibby round again there, so that won't be good news for him. So the wet weather's starting to look like it's creating standing water and some pooling effects now. As Snelling Bongo goes around the outside of Green Gaming, so looks like Green Gaming got out of the way there for him. So is that potentially to do with track limits reached? He's certainly fighting for it now, as you see Snelling Bongo go through, but Green Gaming's not giving it up as Snelling Bongo struggles for traction on the outside there. But let's see who's got the legs as it's almost a drag race down the straight now. Both of them are going to be struggling for traction in the standing water, and it looks like Snelling Bongo's just got the best of him with the extra lungs that it's got on that Toyota, just able to get an extra few kilometres hour in the straights. So this is a battle for 3rd place with Snelling Bongo and Green Gaming. Snelling Bongo again is a reserve driver and won't be picking up points for this race, so Green Gaming will actually still be collecting the points for this race should it finish like this. So I will try and give you that rundown of the order towards the end of our race, and what that does actually mean towards people's standings for accounting for the reserve drivers. As you see, Green Gaming just going a little bit wide there on the entrance into that corner, which is probably not a bad idea considering the standing water there. But as we can see through the back section here, the standing water not seeming to be quite as great, and a dry line almost appearing to some degree, so providing a little bit of relief here. So we'll just try and take a look at our guys down at the back of the order. So KC Redwood in 13th place. KC Redwood has dropped back down from middle of the pack of our qualifying, so potentially involved in the difficulties coming into sector 3 that we saw on lap 1. So potentially they're dropping back down there due to that reason. But 4-minute 40s, not a great lap time around here, so potentially just going for the consistency and just trying to race his own race, KC Redwood, and trying to finish off this season with just a handful of points to make sure he gets back in for next season. You see Mark getting a little bit away with some of that standing water effects in. Again, that's going to be a feature throughout this race at Le Mans. The standing water we don't expect to clear, so this is going to be what it's like throughout, potentially worse if the heavens do open up again, and to what degree they open up again. I think we've got some action on track with Tibby again. So Tibby, a consistent attacker here in this race, but unfortunately a consistent spinner also as well. So potentially the aero setup on that car, or the suspension setup, not really set up for following in the dirtier. Does look like when he gets behind the driver, that's when the issues are caused. But we see Kovkar going around, that's a Kovkar feeling the pressure coming through that chicane. So even to these seemingly flat sections that don't have too much standing water, still causing issues for these drivers now. Yep, so that's Kovkar putting a 4:18 down from a 4:08 with his lap time. So a good 5 or 6 seconds at each spin will cause a driver. As we see, Linga Bazinga that Tibev's actually closing up to the back of now. On board with our leader, so we can see Murphy there taking a very, very wide line down Mulsanne Straight, just trying to stay out of the way of the standing water. Normally you would potentially be warned for track limits there, but because of the amount of speed difference that you've got between a dry track, the race director doesn't actually blow for it. So the guys making use full width of the track here, just trying to stick in. Yeah, and Bruce doing the same. So just trying to stick in the very fringe of the track where there is least standing water. It's a bit dangerous though as they're scooting the grass on the side there, and we can see the arm cord just jutting in and back out again. If the guys do get that wrong, they can see a very high speed accident there. So should be careful when the guys are doing that, they don't clip the arm cord or grass as they come through. So Green Gaming it looks like, and Linga Bazinga are battling out on track. So Linga Bazinga managing to get that Toyota up and through into 4th place. Green Gaming dropping down into 5th, potentially even 6th here now, as he runs straight through at the chicane. So it looks like a lock up there as he's trying to battle Tibev into the 2nd chicane on Mulsanne Straight, and Tibev just getting the better of him there, and Tibev now actually challenging Linga Bazinga. So Tibev just put the move on him and round the outside, so he will come unimpeded into this corner. But they do have to watch that it can turn into a lake, this section. A little bit of standing water, doesn't look too bad at the moment, but has seen Linga Bazinga lock up on the way into it. So the back of that Toyota locking up, brake pressures might be a little bit too tight though, and that's the difficulty with the exit of that corner. So a little bit too much power down, and that can really see, as we see Kovkar going round as well. So the guys really starting to struggle with the exit of that corner rather than the entrance, and that's going to be damage for both of these guys. So potentially a pit stop, and all the guys struggling now. So Alright Turkish as well getting involved in that. We'll try and keep an eye on that corner. And that's Sub-Zero. Not much we've seen of Sub-Zero, but come through from 11th place, so dropped a little bit down the order initially, but is up to 8th place now, Sub-Zero, and chasing down Alright Turkish. In the background we have got Mike or Dog Molly in the pits. We're trying to stay on board with Sub-Zero and Turkish here for this battle for 7th place. So Turkish losing a light in that previous incident with the tyre wall there. Both these guys be heavy on the brakes there into that right hand section. It's not a section you want to lose control on. It's still a high speed corner as they come through into the last right hander before the Porsche curves, and Sub-Zero really closing up to the back of Turkish now, sitting in the slipstream. As we see the sun out on this section of the track, so a dry line will be appearing there, but certainly not enough for the guys to want to consider changing tyres. Sub-Zero in that McLaren, he stayed with that choice throughout his races this season. Did only join us halfway through the season, but has been adamant about the pace of that McLaren and its wonderful V12 engine. So glad to see that car out on track and performing well. And Alright Turkish closing up to the back of Linga Bazinga now. So Linga Bazinga actually off track there. So Linga Bazinga falling back down the order. These guys really struggling with consistency in the wet weather conditions here. Some of the quicker guys really struggling, as we see Green Gaming in the pit. So is that a change of tyres? I think that is the end of lap 5. He's going to see tyres starting to degrade. I think that is a change of tyres and fuel at this stage. So fuel holes in the car, but not too long of a stop there. And Linga Bazinga also in the pits now as well, so potentially he'll get his damage changed there. So, and that is potentially Kovkar getting out of the way, is it? That Old Smoky and CMC just trying to get past Kovkar though, so the CLKs, they're really struggling as they get to the end of lap 5, and Kovkar thinking better of it and opting for a pit. So Linga Bazinga is still in the pits. And I think we've seen a spin from Bruce Law, so Bruce Law has dropped 20 odd seconds back now down the order. I think that's heavy damage as well from Bruce Law, so fortunately I don't think we've seen what really went wrong there, but yeah, he's missing a light from the front of that panel, so looks like the torque getting the better of Bruce in the wet weather, unfortunately, here. And that has allowed Murphy to run away with this, so 20 seconds in front of Snarling Bongo. Snarling Bongo is the best of the rest at the moment here, as I believe that's Mike Per, or Dog Molly as he's called to his mates, that Snarling Bongo is going past. So that'll be the first time that we have seen a backmarker lapped, and that's a different line around that corner. I'm sure the race director will have something to say about that. And Snarling Bongo struggling with the exit as well, so still picking up damage here. The guy's really going to have to watch them that for the rest of this session. Still a long way to go in our session here, 25 minutes left in race, and the more damage these guys pick up, the longer they're going to have to spend in the pits. And I believe we've got CMC on with the battle now with Old Smoky, so these CLKs both going toe to toe, and both of them looking for the outside of the track but finding it hard, and CMC just losing it and getting the standing water there, so that's CMC in 9th place round. So that'll be a yellow flag for Mark as Mark comes through, and Linga Bazinga behind him. Let's hope they manage to get through cleanly. And Linga Bazinga, I think, and Mark even struggling, so all these guys struggling on the straights now. Not one of them able to keep it together, so this could be interesting for the back markers now, as they're going to start making the way through these. Sorry, the front runners to start making the way through the back markers now. Bruce Law dropping to 56 seconds down on our grid. Unfortunately, it does look like it's going to be a pit stop and damage at the end of this lap for Bruce, but again, not too much of an issue for Bruce. This was just a matter of turning up and finishing. And Snarling Bongo we see come in the pits now, so again we've seen Snarling Bongo pick up some damage on a couple of occasions here, so we suspect that will be a damage repair as well as a tyre change. Casey Redwood looks like he's managing to pick up positions though, so slow and steady for Casey Redwood. Sees him going through 2 big spins there from Mark and Linga. Both those guys we saw struggling at the end of the Mulsanne straight there in the standing water, but Casey Redwood doesn't look like he's picked up too much damage here in the red banded livery of Toyota there, so Casey Redwood managing to get back up to 9th place. Lacking a little bit of overall pace here, but if he can keep consistent, he can still pick up points. 9th, still a good amount of points in the championship. And Tibev also pitting now, so Tibby coming in for what looks like a fairly quick stop for Tibby. Yeah, and Bruce Law also coming in the pits as well. So lap 6 of what we suspect to be 11 laps here, potentially a little bit less at Le Mans. And we've seen some all-out action here so far in the wet weather conditions. We've seen some upsets, and we've seen some great consistent driving from the man at the front of the grid now, who is running away with this race. He's over a minute in front, so Murphy really managing to hook this together. And Green Gaming and Bruce Law still in the pits, and that's allowed Old Smoky to jump up to 6th place. So the guys that we see in 3rd, 4th and 5th, I suspect sorry, in third and fifth that I suspect has still got to pit at this stage, but Tibby's already come in and he will be on fresh tyres, so I would expect Tibby to start picking people off and start coming back up the order now, potentially trying to regain a podium spot here after that good qualifying session that we saw. And Sub-Zero, that is in front of him, so Sub-Zero managed to work his way all the way up to third. So we mentioned not 10 minutes ago Sub-Zero was coming back from 11th place, that's third place he's managed to get up to on our grid at this stage in that McLaren. Don't think it's quite managing to maintain the speed of the Toyotas in the straights. Sub-Zero managing to keep Tibeb at bay. Tibeb again, we know is quick. Opts for the inside line there and makes it stick. So bumper to bumper action here. And that is Tibeb with a great run on the McLaren as they come out of the second chicane section. But lots of standing water there to try and navigate around. And the move done successfully there by Tibbet. We'll stick on board with them as they come into this difficult right hand section. We've seen lots of guys spin here, so will we see the guys going around again? And that is Tibby going wide. A little bit of a squirrel there from Tibby on the way out. The allows Sub-Zero to catch up to him, and both of the guys hit the standing water on the exit, so too much power too early, and that is going to be heavy amounts of damage there. So I expect to get another pit stop out of that. That's going to be too difficult to try and keep the cars together without the aero, mainly for the grip. The wet weather conditions here and the speed that they're doing mean aquaplaning is a big issue. So just behind this battle we've got Alright Turkish as well. Alright Turkish not a million miles away, around 15 to 20 seconds behind these guys. So that we could see that gap close up a little bit. And just in front of that snarling bongo we see, so that the red and white livery snarling bongo. So snarling bongo not managing to pull away from these guys despite the accident there. As we see CMC pitting, so that's CMC coming into the pits. Again, CMC we saw struggling on the previous lap. Again on the first part of Mulsanne straight this time. So I'll look at our timing board here. It shows that the fastest lap today currently being set in our race session by Bruce Law with a 4:01.033. So Bruce Law setting the fastest laps of the day so far, but consistently I believe it's Murphy setting the fastest laps. And that Snarling Bongo we see coming in the pits, coming in from second place, allowing Tibby to go through, and Tibby opting not to go for the pit stop. So that tag with the wall, not calling for the race engineers to get the guys into order, and the pit crew ready. Seemingly looking to be able to manage that. Sterling Bongo definitely come in, and I don't think Sub-Zero's coming either. No, so Sub-Zero's staying out, as well as Tibby. So both of these guys potentially not picking up as much damage as it first looked like, but it did look like a hard slam into that wall. Sterling Bongo leaving the pits now. So fairly quick pit stop from Sterling Bongo. Again, just the aero I think getting repaired, and Alright Turkish coming in. So Turkish coming into the pits first time. It looks like there's a bit of damage to the front end of that Mercedes, so we're looking to get that repaired, get a tyre change, and straight underway. It's back over to our leader now. 17 minutes just over left in our session, and we're just coming through with our leader Murphy on lap 7. He's got a 1 minute and 20 lead, an epic lead, in front of Tibby, who's in second place. So just coming up to the back of what looks like 10th place Kovkal. So Kovkal, who is doing well in our GT1 Championship standings. Currently looking for a decent place finish to try and maybe leapfrog himself over Jack de Mendes, who's in 3rd place. But he's yet to find the balance in that CLK in the wet weather conditions, as he tries to get out of the way for Murphy there, but making a bit of meal of it. Always difficult in wet weather to try and get the damaged car out of the way. The responsibility is actually on the overtaking driver to get around there. So Murphy trying to stick to the dry line there. Running a little bit wide on that exit. But again, the race director is a little bit more relaxed when the weather's this adverse. So just whilst we're coming into the final third of our GT1 final championship, if you are just joining us, this is the finale of our round 8 of our GT1 championship, and you join us at Cirque du South for our wet weather race at Le Mans. Our wet weather being defined by it being raining and it being predefined by our weather settings as set by Google and sponsored by Bruce Law's weather generator. So if you do want to know more about Flux Motorsport, if you do want to get involved in our championships, now's a great time. We're just about to go into our special events and into next season. As we see Murphy going round there, sorry, just to interrupt there, we see Murphy going round, a reverse spin from Murphy there. I don't think that's going to affect him too badly. Again, he's got a long way to Tibby behind him, but I think that might mean that Murphy will want to come and start getting those tyres changed at the end of this pit. So sorry, yeah, so just coming back to Flux Motorsport, we're just coming into our special events, and then after that we're rolling round into our championship. So now's a great time to join us. We're going to be advertising and doing the sign-ups for our new championships, so do look over to the website, do look to get involved, and our events will be announced really soon. Like I said, for the rest of this season, we've still got our Formula Renault and GT3 championships to look forward to, and they both happen on Sunday. Formula Renault's happen at 10:30 AM UK time, or GMT +1 on Sunday morning, and 8 PM for our UK GMT +1 time, same for GT3s. So like I said, that'll be on Sunday the 27th of September. So do join us for that, do tune in for those races, and do hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube. It means a lot. We'd love to hear your comments. All the guys love to hear your support, and if you are watching the race and spurring them on. So lap 80 at Le Mans. Murphy currently our leader, Tibby in 2nd place, Sub-Zero in 3rd place, and Sterling Bongo currently actually battling for track place. So battling for 3rd place in the red and white 29 livery of Sterling Bongo, and the red, white and black livery of Sub-Zero in that wonderfully sounding Vin Diesel's sponsored McLaren. So Old Smokey's made his way up to 5th place, so Old Smokey didn't get a bad start from this race, but did see him drop himself down the order, got himself all the way down to 10th place at one point, I believe, in this race. So he's clawed up another 5 places. Again, not without incident. All the guys seem to be struggling with the standing water on Mulsanne Straight, and with 1 or 2 turns that keep collecting water. Drainage not as well as we'd expect it to be on Project Cars 2, so it does make wet weather conditions all that more treacherous. But Old Smokey not doing too bad now, like I said, 5th place. We'll see him get a large amount of points from our championship standings. He's currently tied on points with Luke 42, and Luke 42 isn't here this evening because he's suffering a broken leg, I believe. So if Old Smokey just manages to see this out and finish this race, that'll see him catapulted in front of Luke. Casey Redwood up to 6th spot. Casey Redwood has got 47 points and is in 8th place in our championship, and he's currently closest rival to CMC. So CMC is way down our order, currently in last place. So Casey Redwood could do enough to get himself enough points to see us switch in the order there and jump up to 7th place. So So Casey Red just keeps this together now, and again we've seen those consistent lap times coming in from Casey Redwood. Not necessarily the out-and-out fastest person on track, but it's more about being in it to win it and being there at the end of the race than it is about being the bestest qualifier ever. So that has seen Bruce Law dropping down to 7th place, unfortunately. Bruce Law looks like he's got his lights and front end damage repaired though, so he has come in for tyres, and that's the curse of the commentator, I believe, if you see him going round in the background. And that was that Mike Poor in front of him? It was Mike Poor also going round at that section as well. So the exit of the first chicane there seemingly to be pretty treacherous as well for the guys. Alright, Turkish in 8th place, so fairly consistent rate from Turkish here. Looks like he was involved in maybe 1 or 2 of the setbacks at the beginning of this race. Hasn't had too many upsets himself though. Looks like he's tried to keep it together, but found it difficult trying to get past a couple of drivers. So the wet weather conditions making overtaking hard work here. Looks like he's got some of the aero, some of the damage repaired on the front of that car, but the aero does look like it's still a little bit impacted, so maybe only the necessary damage repaired by Turkish just to keep him in with the fight and out of Linga Bazinga's way, who is 7 seconds behind him. We've got a bit of a gap there between Linga Bazinga and Green Gaming. Green Gaming currently in the pits and getting a what looks like considerable damage repaired there. A hell of a long lap, 7:59, 8-minute lap. So Green Gaming potentially swapping the engine out, I think, in that car. So Mark, Kovkal and Mike, all these guys and CMC are all picking up significant damage, so we don't expect to see these guys making up much more in terms of places, but we will kind of try and keep you on the order with these 5 drivers towards the back of our grid. So coming back to our leader, with just 10 minutes left in our session, just coming down to the back of Mulsanne straight again. And again we can see that standing water getting worse and worse, so Turkish trying to stay out of the way there for Murphy. But the driver's really struggling to try and work out which is the better line to take, which is the correct line to try and manoeuvre. As Turkish goes round the back row, so really unlucky there for Turkish, especially when he was only trying to get out of the way for leader there, so that's a real shame. Sub-Zero in 4th spot pitting now, and Murphy going round, so it looks like all the guys are struggling now. So Murphy again, I don't believe he's pitted in this race at this stage, so you might want to consider coming in there for a pit. Try and get a bit of more rubber on these tyres and potentially stop some of that pits. But the exit of that what seemingly is an acute right-hander, almost a 90-degree right-hander at the end of the Mulsanne straight, looks like it's proving to be one of the most difficult corners on this circuit. So Sub-Zero coming in there, and it does look like quite a long stop for Sub-Zero, so that is damage related potentially. As they keep him in there as we get that repair done and out the pit box. So that'll see Sub-Zero dropping back down to 6th place, but I believe he's got quite a considerable gap on Bruce Law as he exits the pit there, so that's Dog Molly, and it's not enough of a gap on Bruce Law as Bruce Law goes round him for 6th spot now, so Bruce picking up another space there. We have seen him just pick up a little bit of damage at the end of Mulsanne straight, but doesn't look too damaged. The silver and orange livery there of the Panels Esperanti that Bruce Law has been consistently driving this season throughout, is stuck with that car. So was considering a switch to something with a bit more legs for this race, I believe, but just couldn't bring himself to make the change. Stuck with Old Faithful, as it were. Excuse me. So Kovkar just taking a pit stop now as well. Kovkar really struggling towards the latter stage of this race with grip and trying to keep that car in check. So Stoneball with Sub-Zero and Mike Purr in front of him in the Porsche. Mike Purr's had a difficult time in that Porsche, but no more so though than Luke 42, so a notoriously difficult car to drive, and in wet circumstances being no different here. So Does look like Bruce Law's got a little bit more damage on the front of that panel, though, as these guys close up to the back of him, coming into the chicane and parting like the Red Sea as they avoid that standing water. So a real drag race down the Mulsanne straight now, as these guys try and stick out of it, and Mike making that quick switch there as he gets back in line for the left and right of the second chicane on the Mulsanne straight here. And looks like he might have locked up a little bit there, lost a little bit of time compared to Sub-Zero coming into that section then. As we see the back of McLaren kicking out as well, so got to be careful here. The guys all still got to be careful. You can't take your eye off the ball at any point given this in this race, given the treacherous conditions and that standing water. Like we see, it's almost a lake there as we see Bruce going exceptionally sideways, and Sub-Zero still losing traction there. Four-wheel drifts from both of those drivers there, but manages to stick it a little bit better on the exit this time, but not completely cleanly. Back on board with our leader here. I think Murphy's just gone round one of his fellow teammates in a Toyota. I believe that might well be the back marker of Mark. It's not, apologies. So all told, 4 guys choosing the Toyota here today. Murphy making the best of these guys though, as we see both the Toyotas, which do have traction control, but both of them over rotating the outside tyre there because of that standing water. Murphy sitting back in the draft here now. Again, he will have picked up a little bit of damage there, but with a 1 minute 12 gap, he's got a comfortable gap now, so we can start to think about just finishing this race where he is, not pushing the car too hard. And I would be surprised actually, with just 5 minutes left in this session, to see Murphy pit. I think he's going to try and make this go the distance. So a 0-stop strategy looks like Murphy's going for here. In second place we have Tibby in the blue and white livery of the Mercedes CLK. So Tibby again, probably one of the quickest drivers here today, but has been prone to spinning in the Mercedes. I think potentially due to the Euro setup that he may have had on that car, and in the dirtier it looks like it's been most of an issue for Tibby today. But Tibby doing well currently in second spot, with the first place finish that he's had with us at FluxMotorsport, and a good one at that. In third spot, our cameo driver Starling Bongo, so a really good drive from our reserve driver here. Just tapping the wall there, so it looks like he was about to lose it and not be able to regain it then, but no, just a little tag there into the wall, just as he struggles to get traction. As we can see, that water's still not really shifting. Old Smokey up into 4th place, so Old Smokey managed to continue getting places, continue consistent driving. Maybe just a couple of minor mistakes here for Old Smokey, not too much in the way of incident for him, and that's seen him climb well up the order. Casey Redwood, another driver that's come from seemingly the back of the grid here and managed to get up to 5th place. So Casey Redwood sticking it out here and making those slow and steady lap times work for him. As we see another Toyota going into the wall there at the exit of the chicane. And Sub-Zero just coming through the first chicane now. All the guys really do seem to be struggling, but the McLaren not looking too unbalanced there as it comes out, so potentially just being a little bit more delicate with the throttle and how that's getting powered around that corner. Sub-Zero. Well, I think that was Green Gaming just behind him that we saw going round. I think it was in the silver CLK. Yeah, so Green Gaming really struggling now towards the end of the session. Again, as the tyres start to cool down, as they start to lose rubber, it starts to become more and more difficult, and the car wants to aquaplane more. So Bruce Lauder in his 7th place. Again, bit of damage on that car, but looks like he's got most of it repaired. A couple of minor incidents for Bruce. You've seen him drop down that order and come in for damage. But again, Bruce just needs to finish this race. Already current champion of the GT1, so it's just bringing it home, I think, at this stage for Bruce. Linga Bazinga, that we've seen all the way up in 3rd place in the first lap of this race. But turbulent race here for Linga. Managing to get some quick times, but again, a little bit like Tibby, managing to spin it a few times and involved in a couple of difficult overtakes, a couple of wheel-to-wheel and wall contacts. So Linga Bazinga in the wars here, currently in 8th place. Alright Turkish in 9th, so look, Alright Turkish potentially picking up more damage though, but that's a pit with just a couple of minutes left in our session. So Alright Turkish just getting the car repaired and back out and ready to maintain his current standings. A little bit of a track up there, so that might be one for the race director. Mark coming up in 10th place. Mark had a difficult race so far today. Would have expected better from Mark normally in the Toyota. Seen him putting some reasonable finishes in the previous rounds in the GT1. 11th place we've got Mike Purr. Again, a cameo driver. Mike just joined us for the first race this time, so great to have him with us. And Green Gaming, as I said, obviously is a return driver, but currently he's struggling and has picked up a lot of damage in that CLK. So 30 seconds left in our session as we're on lap 11 with Murphy. Murphy coming into this tight back left-hander with the car. Does want to overtake, but if you take it easy, it's not too difficult, that corner. Just coming into sector 3 for the Porsche curves. So this is going to be the last time, the last lap. I don't think we're going to see another lap here from Murphy. You're not going to get to finish this. So this will be, I think, the first win for Murphy this season. And just go to our standings. Overall second in the standings currently Murphy. But currently it would be his first win for the season. And Murphy will be happy about that, as he comes through the Porsche races for the last time. Still spray coming from the car, so the weather not letting up from Le Mans here. Been a very difficult drive for the guys here today. Not completely uneventful for Murphy, as we did see him spin 1 or 2 minor spins and pick up just minor damage. He went round there, but an absolutely great drive from this driver today. 1 minute 22, an absolute epic distance behind second place. Flashing the lights there from Murphy, will be well overjoyed with that. So second place, like I said, we've got Tibby. Tibby just coming on the Rolex bridge. He's got a way to go before he finishes this race, so not finishing in the order that we see on grid. But Snarling Bongo in 3rd place. Old Smoky comes up in 4th place. Casey Redwood in 5th place. Sub-Zero, given as he manages to stick the rest of this lap out, will come in 6th place. Potentially they could still be battling with Bruce Law, so I'll try and keep on board with these guys here. Still quite close in the race, and still do need to finish this lap out, so 6th and 7th could still change order here. I suspect we will see Linga Bazinga still coming in 8th place. He's only just at the chicane, but Alright Turkish again will probably come in 9th, Mark in 10th, Mike in 11th, and Green Gaming will probably finish up in last place. But Sub-Zero and Bruce could well be battling this out here. It's getting a little bit squirrely there through the standing water. And you can hear it screaming down the Mulsanne Straight. And you hear the much lower rumble and torquier engine of the Panos just behind it. And that's way too hot into that corner in wet conditions, and Sub-Zero paying the price for that. So Bruce Lawn Not managing to keep it completely together though, so does get a better exit from that corner initially and round on the last time, so not a great race for Bruce today. But like I said, just got to bring this home. So looks like Sub-Zero will bring it home in 6th place. Bruce in 7th. Linga Bazinga, who again is a cameo driver, had a great start to this race, but unfortunately the wet weather and damage playing its part. Sees Linga in 8th place. Alright Turkish will come home in 9th place. Mike Power in 10th, and Green Gaming will finish the session in 11th place. So that is our rundown of the order for today. Like I said, don't forget to join us on Sunday on the 27th for our Formula Renault and GT3 races. I will be racing the GT3 races. Unfortunately, I won't be racing for any silverware this season, but all your support and comments are welcome, so do get them in. All the drivers love to hear them. But yeah, from our final round at GT1, that sees Bruce winning our championship, and I think it's safe to say that Murphy has secured himself 2nd place in our championship quite securely. And in 3rd place we did have Jack de Menezes. In 3rd place we did have Kovkarl, who'd jumped over Jack de Menezes for 3rd place if his standings had been maintained. But I do see that Kovkarl currently isn't in this session, so we'll have to refer to the standings and come back to you with the update on where Kovkarl's standings are. If the guys finish over 80% of the race, then they do still get championship points and a percentage off, so we'll need to do a calculation of that. But I suspect that Kovkarl may not be overtaking Jack in the standings, and 1, 2, 3 in our GT1 championship would be Bruce Law, Murphy, and then Jack de Menezes in 3rd. So Kovkarl will come close in 2nd, and I believe Alright Turkish will remain in 5th place overall in our standings. So but definitely well done to Bruce Law for great running this season consistently, all bar 2 races finished 1st, and as many pole positions and fastest laps when you can literally throw at him. So well done to all the guys. Thanks very much for the race this season. It's been great to host, and it's been even better to watch. The lobbies have been extremely close and very entertaining. So thanks very much for joining us here this evening. It's been great to have you, and do make sure that you tune in for our final Formula Renault and GT3 races, and do make sure you keep an eye on the website and our social media feeds for all of the juicy news coming about our special event and prize competition. Well, thanks very much from here at Flux Motorsport. We'll see you again.